Good morning, students. How are you? Fine. Okay, now we are going to start our bio chapter. You have done little bit of it in your classes, in your grades. Now this is just a recap session here. What do you mean by which is the basic unit of life, and who discovered the cells? Cell is the basic unit of life, and who discovered the cell? Now in the first paragraph you will get the answer of this question. Robert Hooke discovered the cell. And what did he observe? He observed cork under the self-designed microscope. And what is the cork? Now the question is, what is the cork? Cork is a substance that comes from the bark of the tree. And when Robert Hooke observed the cork under the self-designed microscope, he observed very little rooms under this self-designed microscope, and he called these boxes cells. Cells in Latin language. Cells is in Latin language means rooms, little rooms. You can get the question like, who discovered the cell? Robert Hooke discovered the cell. In which year he discovered the cell? In 1665. And what did he observe? He observed cork. What is cork? Cork is a substance that comes from the bark of the tree, right? And where did he observe? What did he use to observe the cork? He observed this through the self-designed microscope. Okay, and now the question is that Robert Hooke discovered these cells, and he called these cells the little rooms. He gave these little rooms the name of the cells. Now, how does these cells look like? Okay, how does these cells look like? And all the living things that these are made up of the cells. All the living things are made up of cell. Is a basic unit of life starts from the cell. Okay, and what is this? This is a microscope. This is a compound microscope. This is a compound microscope. We use this microscope to see the very small things that we can't observe with our naked eyes. Okay, and if we see a cell under the microscope, it will look like this. If we see just as a onion peel, that is a transparent layer that we can remove from the uh, peels of the onion. Then if we observe these under the microscope, we will get these like rooms, little rooms. Look here, these are the little rooms. And he observed the same under the microscope. Robert Hooke observed these, and he called these little rooms the cells. Okay, now what is now the question is that, what about the size of the cell and the number of the cells in a particular organism? Now we can say that the number of the cells, according to these cells, we can divide these how many types of the cells are there, and what about the size of the cells? All the cells are equal or not? What about the structures that we look? What are the different organelles in the cells? All these are the questions. Now this paragraph, it is very, very important. Here are many questions from this. The cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke. Okay, this is the question number 1, that is, who discovered the cells in which year? And what did he observe? He observed a cork under a self-designed microscope. And Leeuwenhoek, with the improved microscope, discovered the free living cells. Who discovered the free living cells under the improved microscope? Leeuwenhoek in 1674. And who discovered the nucleus? It was Robert Brown. Who discovered the nucleus. Okay, Purkinje, who discovered the protoplasm? What is the protoplasm? The cytoplasm. We will further study about this. The cytoplasm and the organelles present in the cells together are called the protoplasm. Who gave the term protoplasm? Purkinje gave the term, that is the protoplast. protoplasm. And but who gave the cell theory? This is also very important question, that cell theory means that all the plants and animal cells are composed of the cells, and that the cells is the basic unit of life. Who gave this theory? You have to underline all these. What is the cell theory? That all the plants and animals are made up of cells, and these cell is the basic unit of life. And who gave this cell theory? Sheldon and Squahan. You have to underline this. Sheldon and Squahan gave the cell theory. Next question is, who expanded the cell theory? Who expanded? Who further added the postulate or the point in the cell theory? That was Virchow. And what is the next point that Virchow has added? All cells arise from the pre-existing cells. All the cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Okay, so and what are the organelles present around the cells? How these come into how the scientists came into discover this? With the help of the electron microscope. Okay, because that is having high power, and with this the organelles can be observed. Okay, now the question here are the who discovered cells, when he discovered the cells, what did he observe, who discovered the free living cells, and who discovered nucleus, who coined the term protoplasm, what is the cell theory, who gave the cell theory, who expanded this cell theory. All these are the questions from this paragraph. So this is very you can write here, this is very important paragraph. Okay, you have to learn all these points. Right, now the question is that all the cells, these living cells, all the cells are of same size or different size? The cells are of different size. Look here, there are the different types of the different cells. There are the various cells from the human body. It means there are the different sizes of the cells which are found in the human body also. And the size of the cell, that is the we can say that the organism that are made up of single cells, they are called unicellular. Organisms made up of single cells, these are called unicellular organism. And the organism that are made up of more than one cell, or we can say that large number of cells or more than one cells, they are called the multicellular organism. We are multicellular. Multi means many, uni means one. You can give the example here: Chlamydomonas, Paramecium, amoeba, all bacteria. These are the unicellular organism because we can't see them with the naked eyes. Okay, we need microscope to see these organism. And the others, the organism that are made up of more than one cells, that is made up of many cells, they are called the multicellular organism. These are the example: fungi, plants, animals. All these are the multicellular organism, right? And every multicellular organism, the new cells arise from the pre-existing cells. New cells arise from the pre-existing cell. You can get a question like this: which is the largest cell in the human body? Which is the largest cell? Nerve cell. This nerve cell is the largest cell in the human body. Nerve cell is the largest cell in the human body, and it can be up to 1 meter long. It can be up to 1 meter long. Okay, now these are the different shapes, different types of the different shapes of the cells that are found in the human body. You have to draw these cells also. This is the nerve cell, and this is the fat cell, this is sperm, and this is ovum, egg cells, smooth muscle cells, blood cells. Okay, all these are the different size, different shapes, and these all are present in the human body. Okay, this depends upon the what their function they have to perform. Okay, that size and the shape of the cell, this is determined by the function the cell has to perform. Right, now we will move further. That is the this one. Look here, the shape and the size of the cells are related to the specific function they perform. Underline this also. The shape and the size of the cells are related to the specific function they perform. But what about the size? How will be the size of the cell, and how will be the shape of the cells? This is decided by the function what they have to perform. Some cells like amoeba is not having any fixed shape, so it can change its shape. Similarly, in the human body, You can also write in human body which cell is not having fixed shape, that is the WBC, white blood cells. They are not having fixed shape. Okay, now the question is that the organism, that is the different organs in the living different organs in the living body, they perform different function. So it means the cells, they perform different functions according to, when the group of the cells, we said that the cell is the basic unit of life, right? We have said that the cell is the basic unit of life. Now how can we say that the cell is the basic unit of life? Students, look at, as we say that for building a house, bricks are required. Without bricks a building cannot be made. Similarly, for making a living organism, cell is required. Now cells join together to form tissue, tissue join together to form organs join together to form organ systems, and organ systems join together to form organism. So we said that the cell is the basic structural unit of the living organism. Without cell, no tissue will be formed, and without tissue, no organ will be formed. Without organ, no organ system will be formed, and without organ system, no organism will be formed. So we say that cell is the basic unit of life. Now, what is the cell made up of? Cell has different components. Underline this also. Cell has different components called the organelles. What do you mean by cell organelles? The components of the cell that are called the cell organelles. And with any kind of the cell, we will further discuss that the cells can be divided into two categories, eukaryotic and prokaryotic. Either it may be eukaryotic or prokaryotic. There are the three parts that are present in each and every cell, that is the plasma membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Plasma membrane, nucleus and the cytoplasm. Plasma membrane, nucleus and the cytoplasm, these are the three parts that they will be present in every eukaryotic or prokaryotic cell. Okay, so now we will discuss about this. What is the plasma membrane? Plasma membrane is also called the cell membrane. Plasma membrane is also called the cell membrane. Cell membrane, plasma membrane is that allows, that is a special type of the a membrane that allows the entry or exit of the only particular substances through out and inside and outside of this is. So plasma membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane. This is very important question. Why plasma membrane or cell membrane is called the selectively permeable or semi-permeable membrane? Because it allows entry or exit of only the some particular substances through it. So this is called the selectively permeable membrane. Okay. Now how does the movement take place through this? How does the movement take place through this plasma membrane, and what is the composition of the plasma membrane? Okay, we have learned that the diffusion, you have learned in the chemistry, that is diffusion, that is the intermixing of particles. But in case of bio, we say that this is diffusion. Diffusion is the spontaneous movement of substances from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Diffusion is the spontaneous movement of substances from higher concentration. You underline this. There is a spontaneous movement of substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. That is called the diffusion. Okay. So when we can say that plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane that allows entry or exit of only certain substances through it. Now in the next lecture we will discuss about the osmosis. Okay, we will discuss about the osmosis and about the something more about the diffusion. That is the, for example, in the diffusion I have said that spontaneous movement of the substances from higher concentration to the lower concentration, as there is a more carbon dioxide we are breathing, just as the in case of the some substances like carbon dioxide, which is the cellular waste and requires that to be excreted. Just as we give the example of amoeba. Amoeba is made up of single cell, and it is having only one cell that has to perform all the functions. and in the performing the functions, carbon dioxide concentration is more inside the amoeba, inside the cell, and then outside carbon dioxide less. Then the movement will take place from inside to outside, and inside the body of amoeba the concentration of oxygen is less and outside is more. Then the movement will take place from outside to inside. So there will be gaseous exchange because of this diffusion. Okay, so we will discuss about osmosis in our next chapter. I hope this will be clear. What is plasma membrane, what is another name of plasma membrane, who discovered this? There are so many questions in this. Okay, I think uh, you have understood all about this. Okay, and you have to note down these important points of this. Okay, and rest of this we will discuss in next lecture.